Welcome to tonight's episode of Legends, Lore, and Lies, where we delve into the shadowy realms of myth, mystery, and the macabre. Tonight, we're venturing deep into the frozen heart of the North American wilderness to explore a legend as ancient as it is chilling, the Wendigo. This creature, rooted in Algonquian Native American folklore, embodies the darkest appetites of humanity, both literally and metaphorically. Our journey begins in the dense forests and icy plains where the Wendigo roams, a haunting presence that has stalked the nightmares of many. Described as a gaunt giant, the Wendigo is never satisfied, forever hungry, its body growing with each unfortunate soul it consumes. This creature, often depicted as emaciated, with ashen skin stretched tightly over protruding bones, is a grotesque symbol of gluttony and excess. Its eyes, deep set and glowing, pierce through the darkness of the coldest, longest nights. The Wendigo is not merely a monster of flesh and bone, but a spirit of insatiable greed and unnatural longing. It whispers with human voices to lure the unwary into the desolate wilderness, where it awaits to feed its endless hunger. The legend speaks of its terrifying ability to mimic the voices of loved ones, drawing its victims away from safety, only to reveal the horror that lies beneath the familiar sound. Tales of it are as varied as they are horrifying, stretching across tribes and generations. Some say it can only be killed by a silver bullet to the heart, while others believe it can survive dismemberment, a testament to its supernatural resilience. The Wendigo's story is a cautionary tale against the dangers of unchecked desire and the depths to which humanity can fall when driven by desperate hunger. But the Wendigo is more than just a tale of horror. It's a reflection of the human condition, a metaphor for destructive nature of greed and the consequences of societal and personal excess. In times of famine, the Wendigo served as a stark warning against cannibalism, embodying the community's fears and the stark choices faced in the harshest conditions. As we prepare to delve deeper into the facts, the folklore, and the first-hand encounters with this mysterious creature, keep in mind that its dual nature, both a monster of the North American wilderness and a mirror reflecting our darkest impulses. Join me as we explore the line between legend and reality, the shadowy space where the Wendigo roams, a chilling reminder of the hunger that lies in the heart of the wilderness and within ourselves. Let's turn our gaze into the chilling details and storied past of it, a creature as fascinating as it is fearsome. With origins deeply rooted in the spiritual traditions of North American Algonquin-speaking tribes, it is a complex figure woven into the fabric of the indigenous mythos, embodying the harsh realities of survival, the dangers of greed, and the deaths of despair. It is often depicted as a towering, skeletal figure, its body a grotesque tapestry of emaciation and insatiable hunger. A magic creature that grows in size with each victim it consumes, yet it remains perpetually starved, its body stretching upwards of 15 feet tall, yet as thin as the winter air that chills to the bone. Its skin, ashen and tight over protruding bones, gives off the stench of decay, a physical manifestation of its eternal hunger. Some tales describe it as having glowing eyes, yellowed fangs, and long, sharp claws, an apex predator designed for the hunt in the unforgiving wilderness of Canada and the northern United States. Its lore is as old as the tribes that first spoke of its existence, predating European settlers' arrival in North America. This legend served multiple purposes: a cautionary tale against the perils of isolation and greed, and a personification of the cold, hunger, and desperation that could drive a person to unspeakable acts. The Wendigo myth is thought to have emerged as a response to very real threats of starvation and the breakdown of communal bonds essential for survival in the harsh winter months. Early accounts from missionaries and explorers in the 17th century recount harrowing transformations of ordinary people into these monsters, either through direct encounters in the wilderness, possession in dreams, or the desperate act of cannibalism. Such stories underscore the Wendigo not just as a monster of flesh and bone, but as a spirit of corruption capable of infiltrating the human soul. Within Algonquin culture, The Wendigo represents more than just a tale to frighten children. It embodies the very real dangers of the wilderness and the spiritual consequences of violating taboo. The figure of the Wendigo acted as a deterrent against cannibalism during times of famine and served to reinforce the importance of community and the sharing of resources for mutual survival. Its presence in folklore is a powerful reminder of the balance between humans and nature, and the perils that await those who stray too far from the moral and ethical codes that sustain life. As we look deeper into the rich tapestry of legend and lore surrounding it, exploring its place in folklore, cultural impact, and the timeless lessons it imparts about human condition and our place in the natural world, remember the lessons it's meant to teach. Its origins are rooted in tales of cannibalism and dark magic. Some stories suggest that merely coming into contact with it or being possessed by it in a dream could transform a person into this dread creature. This transformation marks not just a physical change, but a spiritual descent into darkness, where the individual becomes a vessel for the Wendigo's insatiable hunger. Wendigo psychosis, a term coined in the 20th century, describes a profound mental affliction tied to the legend, where individuals are overwhelmed by an intense desire to consume human flesh. This condition, seen by the indigenous communities as a spiritual sickness, reflects the profound fear and taboo surrounding cannibalism and the beast itself. Historical accounts from Jesuit missionaries and indigenous tales of the 17th and early 20th centuries provide a grim testament to the beast's legacy. Notable stories include the haunting narrative of Jack Fiddler and Oji Cree, you know I'm horrible at trying to pronounce these, shaman, who claimed to have killed several of the beasts, only to meet a tragic end at the hands of the law for his efforts to protect his own community. Though physical evidence of the Wendigo remains elusive, its presence persists in the culture's consciousness, inspiring horror stories, films, and video games that tap into the deep primal fear it embodies. Venturing into the dark heart of the wilderness, we explore personal encounters with the Wendigo, a journey that threads the thin veil between reality and the supernatural. It is a creature of Algonquian lore. It's not just a figure of nightmares, it's a chilling presence reported by those brave or unfortunate enough to meet it face to face. Survivors of its encounters are rare, and their stories are shrouded in the kind of terror that leaves a mark on the very soul. Imagine facing a creature that, with its insatiable hunger, tears its prey apart with a savagery that knows no bounds. The very encounter with such a being is believed to drive a person to the brink of madness. A madness that is not just psychological, but spiritual, touching the depths of the human psyche where reason meets the unexplained. It's important to reflect on the deep, unsettling connections between its legend and the human condition. These tales, while rich in cultural and spiritual significance, also invite us to ponder the mysteries that lurk just beyond the edge of the unknown, in the shadowy realms where folklore meets the raw edges of survival and sanity itself. As we explore the murky waters between science and the supernatural in our quest to understand the Wendigo, we're confronted with a blend of psychological phenomena, historical accounts, and cultural critiques that challenge our perceptions of this legendary creature. Wendigo psychosis, a term steeped in controversy and fascination, describes a condition where individuals exhibit an insatiable desire for human flesh, not only out of necessity, but through a deep psychological disturbance. This condition has been debated among scholars, with some viewing it as a manifestation of cultural embedded fears rather than diagnosable mental illness. Historical records, such as those by the Jesuit missionaries in the 1600s, provide early Western accounts of behaviors resembling Wendigo psychosis, detailing horrific tales of cannibalism and a relentless hunger that could only be quelled by the death of the afflicted. The tragic story of Swift Runner, a Cree man who in the late 19th century murdered and consumed his family, stands as a stark example of Wendigo psychosis. Despite having access to food supplies, Swift Runner's actions were attributed to his psychosis, leading to his execution. This case, along with others, illustrates the complex interplay between mental health, cultural beliefs, and survival in extreme conditions. Further complicating the narrative, figures like Jack Fiddler, an OG Cree shaman known for his alleged ability to identify and euthanize those possessed by the Wendigo spirit, highlight the cultural and spiritual dimension of the Wendigo legend. Fiddler's story ended in tragedy and legal controversy, underscores the collision between indigenous practices and colonial legal systems. Beyond the realm of folklore and psychology, the creature serves as a potent metaphor for greed, consumption, and the destruction of the environment. Scholars and activists drawing out the myth of it critique modern society values with the insatiable exploitation of natural resources, dubbing such behaviors as Wendigo economics. This perspective suggests that the true horror of the Wendigo myth is not its supernatural elements, but in its reflection of the human capacity for destruction and greed. As we stand at the crossroads of myth and reality, the Wendigo transcends its origins as a creature of Algonquian folklore to become a symbol of the darker aspects of human nature and a call to action against the societal and environmental ills that plague our world. The question then becomes not whether the Wendigo roams the forests of North America, but rather what the legend of it reveals about ourselves and the society we inhabit. Let's carry this conversation forward. Share your thoughts, your stories, or your reflections on the Wendigo and what it represents in our modern world. How do we confront the Wendigos of our time, and what lessons can we draw from this enduring legend to foster a more sustainable future? Now, I'll take this time to let you know that I did meet a person at one of my jobs, and we won't say his name or that, but he told a story that he was out hunting at night. So I would take it that he was hunting coyote, and he wasn't poaching, but he was hunting at night. And he swears that he was attacked and chased by a Wendigo. He said this was in northwest Ohio. He said he was hunting, and he described it just the way that they describe him on here, except for that it was white and almost glowed in the moonlight. And it chased him to the edge of the woods, and he barely escaped. Now, shortly thereafter, he was admitted into a psychiatric ward, where then they let him go from the job we had. So I don't know whatever happened to him. I will tell you now that the house he lived in was like completely remodeled and then sold. So whether his story ended well and he moved away because of his fear of the Wendigo, or it ended horribly and the Wendigo got him, who knows? Only he knows, and maybe his family. But that's just a story I wanted to share with you. Like I said, I don't have all the details. That's all he told me. So I kind of put that forward. But that's kind of things we need. If you have stories about things that happened, send them in to us. And then, we'll kind of put together maybe a listener episode where we talk about all the things that you've done. Okay, so as we reach the end of our journey in the shadowy realm of the Wendigo, we traverse the chilling pathways of fact, folklore, and the personal accounts that bridge our world with the one that lurks in the depths of the North American wilderness. Throughout this episode, we've uncovered the layers of the creature, its legend, from its terrifying physical description and history of sightings to the rich tapestry of lore and the bone-chilling encounters of those who claim to have faced this entity. We delved into the scientific and the supernatural debates that surround the existence of the creature, exploring the psychological phenomenon of Wendigo psychosis and the cultural critiques that use the Wendigo as a symbol of insatiable greed and environmental destruction. But the story doesn't end here. The legend of the Wendigo is much part of the present as it is of the past, continuing to evolve and find new relevance in our collective consciousness. Now it's your turn to join the conversation. Have you ever felt the chilling whisper of the Wendigo in a cold, dark night? Do you see the creature's shadow in the greed and consumption that drive our modern world? We invite you to share your thoughts, stories, and reflections. Comment on this episode on YouTube's video. Join the dialogue in our Discord server, or send us an email. Your insights and experiences are crucial threads in the ever-expanding tapestry of the creature's legend. As we close this chapter, let's remember that the Wendigo is more than just a creature of folklore. It embodies the very real challenges we face in our relationship with nature, with each other, and with the aspects of ourselves that we often dare not confront. In reflecting on it, we find not only tales of terror, but also opportunities for introspection and growth. Thank you for embarking on this spine-tingling journey with us. Your curiosity, your engagement, and your willingness to explore the mysteries that lie in the shadows are what make this adventure so exhilarating. Until we meet again, keep the fire burning, the stories alive, and your spirit of inquiry insatiable.